Moving Millions, How Coyote Capitalism Fuels Global Immigration. I'm Jeffrey Kaye, an immigrant, a son and grandson of immigrants, and a journalist. I've reported on immigration from around the world, and I've long been fascinated by the subject for both personal and professional reasons. Not only do I live in a global crossroads of nationality and race, Los Angeles, but over the years I've met people who have traveled thousands of miles for a better life. I've seen the anger and frustration of those who feel invaded by foreigners, and I've watched immigration agents on different continents hunt down and arrest people their governments want to deport. The world's wealthier countries seem fixated on the legal status of migrants. As they plow money into border police and fences, there are vigorous debates over culture and the relative costs and benefits of migrants. But I wanted to go beyond that. Moving Millions looks at more fundamental questions about why people migrate, who benefits, what policies promote immigration. The better we understand those issues, the more capably we can address them. In my own case, for instance, economic programs of the Harold Macmillan government prompted my family to leave Great Britain in the 1960s. Here I am with my parents and my sister boarding the ship that brought us to the United States. My father, as a jeweler and craftsman, had a hard time making a living in England, so my parents decided to migrate, just as their parents had. It was the Russian Tsars in the late 1800s whose policies spurred my great-grandparents and their families to move. They were part of the massive exodus of migrants who left Eastern Europe because of anti-Semitism, but also for economic reasons, the book's chief focus. One place I went to see how similar issues play out today was the Philippines, where there's a culture of migration bred by poverty and want. People are a cash crop. The government expects them to go abroad, work, and send money home. The point, one that stands out so clearly in the Philippines, is that people migrate not only as a result of personal calculations, but because of policies crafted by politicians and corporate executives. Another example, Senegal, a country on Africa's western bulge. The Senegalese have a popular dish called chiboujeen. It's made from fish, rice, and vegetables. What's cooking got to do with migration? Well, consider the ingredients in the pot. In Dakar, Senegal's main port and capital, I saw workers unloading cheap rice from South America. In the marketplaces, imported vegetables, subsidized by European governments, are less expensive than locally produced products. And fish, the other ingredient in chiboujeen, is in short supply. Massive foreign trawlers have depleted the fish population. So if you can't make a decent living from the sea or from the land, what are you going to do? One solution is to leave. Migrate. Similar patterns are repeated the world over. It's a story whose broad outlines are common not only to sub-Saharan Africans who make it to Europe, but to Mexicans in the United States and to people who move from one developed nation to another. So that's a taste of Moving Millions. From the Arab world to Africa and Asia, Europe and the United States. In the book, you'll find smugglers and migrants, politicians, police and border guards, industrialists and business executives, all part of the global machinery of immigration. Moving Millions reminds us of universal and often forgotten histories. It assumes that given the right circumstances, people will move, as instinctively as our ancient ancestors crawled out of primordial waters in search of better food and shelter. In my travels, I came to better understand that migration, like global warming, should be dealt with internationally and humanely. We need to recognize that migration not only affects those of us in developed nations, but also the countries and families left behind. As migrant activists in the Philippines have put it, we dream of a society that will never be torn apart just for the need to survive. Moving Millions.